Well, all right. Hello, friends. Welcome to Double Crossed, episode 11. It's US Open week. Welcome, everybody. I'm your host, Dan, at 2 inches short from the internet. This is my co-host, Dave, at Golf and Jokes, also from the internet. If you don't follow us on social media, get on it. We're available on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever podcasts are sold. Thanks to all who have subscribed and gave us a rating, gave us a review. All of that stuff helps. All the good juju helps. So let's just keep it rolling. If you want to help us out and support us, it does help us. So we appreciate it. You know, again, say it weekly. Just two guys who like talking about golf. Love the support. So Dave, good to see you. How are you doing? First full week on father duty, on actually being a dad. How you holding up, bud? Talk to us, man. How's your new life?
It's been quite an adjustment, let me tell you. But yeah, it's been good, man. Minus not having any sleep, which I'm sure any new parent can attest to. But slowly getting into a routine, which I'm sure will change all the time. But I mean, people say the first few weeks are like the toughest. You're like, you're not sure what to do. It's basically you're given a toy without the a manual how to use it. And
yeah, except the toy is a real live living, breathing human. Yeah,
so you're kind of figuring things out on the fly, Googling a lot of stuff, asking people for advice. But we're getting a hand of it.
That's great, man. Well, again, we wish you all the best last, and we continue just to shower you with congratulations because we're still so thrilled for you. But the question does remain: have you stuck in any golf?
I did. I played. I went to the range a couple of times. Played yesterday. So
weekend round.
It was a good day. Perfect weather.
Nice. How'd you hit it?
Played decent, so I wasn't too upset with the score, and just had a good day with the boys.
Nice. Took your mind off things for a couple hours, and
although it was a 5.5 hour round, which is never fun, but.
Well, you make enough memes. Those are actually real life memes nowadays. We're just going to play 36. No big deal. You're not. But that's awesome, man. Getting out, working on the game. Again, inspiration for dads everywhere. If anyone needs any advice, I'm sure Dave is, it's only been a week, so let's not get carried away. But we're
the only advice I have is marry a good woman, and that's it.
That's all right, man. I amen to that. Amen. That's probably the best advice we could give on this. This is a golf podcast. It's not like a marriage podcast, but hey, we know what we're talking about. Dave, we're thrilled for you again. Thrilled you're able to get out, and the game is has the new dad, the perspective you've gained translated into your golf game yet, or are you still waiting? Still got to wait a couple rounds for that.
Still got to wait. Give me another week. Give me another round under my belt. Yeah.
Well, we're gonna check in on you again, obviously next week. As for me, I attended the CGA, the Colorado Golf Association State Amateur Match play over at Common Ground, which was a lot of fun. Following my buddy, it was great. Followed my buddy around. Nice. Saw a bunch of great golf. If you ever have an opportunity to see these things, fortunate enough that I can get out there. Saw a kid, I guess he's 17, 18. I'm not sure. He's going into his senior year of high school and kick some ass based on what I saw. So, he's got, let's see if he, what happens when he has a job, but he knows he's going to play golf in college. That's his job right now. It's pretty fantastic. And it's pretty amazing to see what these young guys are doing. He had a move that I couldn't even, it hurt just watching it, but it was it was on point. And yeah, he striped it. It was great to watch. Some good golf. We also went to show, Dave. I was mentioning to you that over at Red Rocks Amphitheater over in Morriston, Colorado, which you said that you've never even heard of.
Never heard of, no.
Looking it up. Great venue. Amazing to get back out there. Feeling great. Thought it was gonna be limited capacity. It was like sold out. So we're back, baby. I don't know, man. I just looked like it was sold out. I mean, all the seats were taken. In my mind, that's sold out.
Was it outdoor or indoor?
Outdoor. It's outdoor. But yeah. So I mean, it was great to be back.
Did they like? You didn't have to wear like a mask or anything like that, right?
No, it was. You could if you wanted to. Yeah, but it was good to pay concession stand prices. Just good to get ripped off again, and just all in all a great time to get back out there. But hey, it is US Open week. Enough about us. We want to talk about what the heck is going to go on this week in a major. But before we get to that, we have this week on tour, which was we'll recap the Palmetto Championship, where we got a first-time PGA Tour winner in his second PGA Tour start. Technically, his first PGA Tour start. First was the PGA Championship. This guy, Garrick Higgo, I've mentioned him on the podcast. A couple weeks ago, and a couple weeks before that. South African, 22 years old. Went to UNLV. I'm not sure whether you know this. Left his sophomore year to go pro and won on, I mean, his last couple starts, 4th, 1st, 8th, 1st, T64 at the PGA, and then now a first at the Palmetto Championship at Congaree, right? Congaree. What was it?
Congaree? Yeah, I can't say it.
But it was a beautiful golf course. Great. Just held his shit together. I mean, went 68, 69, 68, 68 to take just basically just lap Chesson Hadley, who kind of collapsed a little bit down the stretch.
A little bit.
Hadn't won in, we'll get to you in a second, Dave. Hadn't won in 7 years. Had a 4-shot lead going into the final round. Anybody who's had a 4-shot lead on the PGA Tour this year has closed it out. It just looked shaky all day. Was not great, and his playing partner Howard English down the stretch also was not great. But Garrick Higgo, he maintained and didn't collapse and just played pretty much flawless golf. Gets in the clubhouse at, what do you get in the clubhouse at 11 under? 11 under. 11? Yeah. 11 under. Chesson Hadley has to make par on the last hole to tie, right?
Yeah.
Paul just hit an awful shot in. It was not
his fucking thing. He was doing all round chipping with his wood. Like, okay, I get it. It's probably a good play, but he was doing it all round, and it was not working at all. Like, for the most part, I think maybe he only got up and down once. Like, just especially on 18, that was such an easy chip, straight up the hill.
Yeah,
just chip the ball, man. Because all round he was judging those. He was leaving it short, so he obviously didn't have the feel with that shot. So just chip it. It's an easy chip up the hill, get your putt, and go into a playoff.
And he was putting himself in positions by not hitting greens.
On 18, middle of the fairway with an 8-iron, like, you need birdie to win, like, and then you go way right. He got lucky hitting the 10th there.
Yep. So gotta hit the green. It was not pretty. I think he said after the round, it wasn't a good view, even from where I was. I'm sure it wasn't on TV. Was not great. But Garrick Higgo, solid down the stretch. He made an eagle on a par 5 12th, birdie on 14, and just closed it out with, he made a couple clutch putts. He's a lefty. Like, this kid is, I mean, I saw someone, we were talking about Matt Fitzpatrick and Tommy Fleetwood, and, guys who've been, in the mix for quite some time and who haven't gotten a PGA Tour win. And this guy comes out here on his first real PGA Tour start. I won't count even the PGA as a start. It's remarkable. Dave, could you have any? Did you? I mean, you've never heard of this kid until I started mentioning him on this podcast.
Never heard of him,
right? So
no. And to be honest, even though you mentioned it, I forgot that you even mentioned it. So when I saw his name on the leaderboard, I'm like, who is this guy?
Yeah, well, now we know. And then but yeah, so he wins, and then we had a bunch of guys tied for runner up. I mean, this was Bo Van Pelt. When's the last time we said his name? Gets his first top 5 since 2015. It was I mean, a cool golf course. Congaree, is that
pretty short course, to be honest.
Yeah, short.
Yeah,
you thought it was short.
short.
I mean, I felt like it gave the players options. I thought it was, they had
it was tough though. Tough.
Like I saw the first hole, they couldn't even go at the pin. I didn't see any. Like there were some things.
Yeah. For that course, the greens and the just around the greens is what makes it so tough. Like you miss the green, you're rolling off and into a waste bunker or whatever, and the greens were super firm. So yeah, that was definitely the
and the course and started drying out too. Yeah. I mean, it was a cool venue. I saw Garrick Higgo is the first South African winner on the PGA Tour, age 22 years or younger, since Gary player in 1958. Like crazy stuff. He played with a guy named Wilco. I'm gonna butcher his last name. Niedenberg. I'm not sure. I don't know. This dude hits it a fucking mile, dude. I mean, his ball speed's like 190 consistently. These young kids just coming out are they're pretty fucking good. But yeah, just go over our well, first of all, Garrick Higgo, sorry, he's exempt through 2023. We're gonna be seeing a lot more of this dude on the PGA Tour now. He was already in the field at the US Open. So just again, we said we wanted to keep you informed. There was a reason why I was talking to you about it. This was why. And by the way, we didn't mention any contenders last week. He was my close second to DJ, by the way.
How did he finish at the PGA?
64th.
Oh, okay.
Still, he made the cut. Made the cut.
Yeah,
in his first major, right? And so but while we're talking about DJ, let's just get right into our locks from last week. Let's just review them. I had DJ to win. He gave himself a chance.
Good effort.
Down to the stretch until he 3-putted 16 and made triple bogey. And it was not good. And Dave, who did you have? You had Brooks to win.
Yeah, Brooks. He obviously didn't care about this week at all. I think he just showed up just to test out the knee, shake some rust off. Obviously his mind's on the US Open, so I kind of regret making that pick. It was terrible. And
which I'm gonna take that pick and add that to a point for my fade, because I took Brooks and I said the exact same thing to you. I said it's either he's going to go out there and suck or he's going to go out there and win. And he just went out there, played 2 rounds, tested out the knee, and it was not pretty. He shaved the goatee from Thursday into Friday.
Yeah.
So I don't know what was going on.
Looks like we'll have clean shaven Brooks for the US Open.
We'll see what happens. And Dave, you faded.
I can't remember who I faded. Yes. And I think he did miss the cut. So it was a good fade.
Yeah.
I think he's on a bad streak. He's like 4 in a row now.
Yeah. It was not great. Then we had we'll just real quick what we saw this week. Besides the South African duo, these young dudes, again, 22 years old, 21 years old, hitting a freaking mile and winning golf tournaments. And besides these guys, we also saw a gentleman named Tane Lee, a 31-year-old journeyman who's Monday cued in, former D3 star. Led on Saturday, was the talk of the tournament. Had a tough finish on Saturday, however, because this is golf and the game is hard. Dave, did you catch any of the hoopla on this this guy?
No, I didn't see anything.
So he's apparently he's a pretty big fan favorite among the especially in the Twitter verse. And people seem to love him. I mean, also people know a lot more about Monday qualifiers with Monday Q info, that everything that he provides. So it's a good thing to see these kind of stories. I mean, he had an opportunity to kind of change his life. If he finished top 10, unfortunately, he finished T14. It is what it is. But we hope to see him back. Golf is hard, and we know that. But as we move along, Dave, we saw a 10-shot penalty. Mark Hensby play. Did you hear about that? You heard about it.
I heard about it.
Yeah. Well, he played the wrong ball for 5 shots, and every shot he got penalized 2 strokes. Apparently he switched balls on the putting green with Pat Perez by accident. That's what he said afterwards. Not 10 shots doesn't really get it. I think he went 1 over the rest of the round. I think it happened on the, I don't know, some hole. Obviously some hole. I don't know what hole it was, but 10 shots puts you right out of the tournament. Didn't make the cut. Hell of a penalty. Pretty fucking hilarious.
That's bad.
And then we saw a couple other things we saw on social media. We saw Lee Westwood gets married in Vegas. Beware of this man going to San Diego without a care in the world. And then
he was runner up or third place in 08
in Torrey at Torrey.
Yeah.
Yep. And part of his slew of close finishes in majors. Maybe he gets it done. Who knows? I think his now wife will be on the bag. I think that's how this is going to work.
Well, she's been on the bag. She's been on the bag.
I think they switched. I think for the Masters, maybe.
Masters, his son was on the bag. Yeah.
And then here in the United States, Dave, I was telling you about the PXG commercials I was seeing. Bob Parsons yelling at me and then calling me sweetheart. I just feel very awkward, and I feel very uncomfortable. I'm not going to buy the clubs. Period. Just want to let you know. Other tour news. We had Jonathan Caldwell from Northern Ireland win the Scandinavian mixed doubles on the European Tour. On the Korn Ferry Tour, Mito Pereira wins back-to-back weeks against someone you should probably now know the name, as we mentioned it a couple times now. This is his 3rd win. He gets auto-exempt into the PGA Tour. This was at the BMW Charity Pro-Am, and next up is Wichita Open. Jerry Kelly gets it done on the Champions Tour, edges Miguel Angel Jimenez and Freddie Couples at the American Family Insurance Championship. LPGA still in progress. They're out in Cali. That pretty much wraps up this past week. Dave, did you have any final thoughts on the fact that this dude Garrick Higgo might be someone that is going to be around for a while?
No, he's going to be a stud for sure. He's a bright future. For me, it was just how much of a choke Hadley was. What a huge choke job.
Yeah. Did you want to? Yeah. Did you?
So
you said this to me, but I just didn't understand it.
First of all, he had a 4-shot lead, which he blew within 3 holes of starting the round. It was all gone. He worked hard to get the lead back, and then he blew a 2-shot lead over the final 3 holes. So what is this guy? How many chances does he need? It was just I think he bogeyed his last 3 holes, and he played his first 3 holes in 3 over.
Yeah, it wasn't great.
No, so honestly, the only thing that watching that happen, it just made me think of Tiger again, and how amazing he was on Sundays.
He was, yeah,
90-something% close
We're
rate.
gonna get into. Don't you worry, folks. We're gonna get into some Tiger in Torrey stuff later on after the preview.
I mean, it's
Dave,
just
you're right.
Watching these guys play golf on Sundays trying to close an event is terrible. They close maybe 20-30% of the time.
Yeah,
if that.
Yeah. Well, golf.
It's tough. It's obviously golf is hard. Golf is hard. It is.
It's hard, and
that's just what makes what Tiger did
what
incredible.
He did so special. Yeah. I agree. We all, again, we're going to talk Tiger and Torrey because we cannot not talk Tiger and Torrey during the US Open. So while we're here, Dave, also I see you drinking a beer. That's different than a White Claw. Nice work.
Yeah. The
Corona lime in there
were one. Yeah. The White Claws were a 1 week thing.
Life's a beach. Look at that. All right. So let's get into it's US Open week, folks. If you're not pumped, you probably don't have a pulse. This is at Torrey Pines, La Jolla, California. Also have Father's Day coming up, Dave, don't we?
Yeah.
Look at that.
First one
Sunday.
as a dad, which came quick.
Yeah, gotta happen fast. We're going like we were saying, Torrey, winner gets $2.25 million. We're going to talk a little bit about the grass in a little bit when we get into a couple things that we noticed that have changed at Torrey. Golf Channel, NBC, get ready for the US Open music. It's one of the best, in my opinion, it's one of the best things. Obviously, Masters is its own class. US Open's it's its own thing. We're looking at the US Open. Obviously, we're hitting fairways. That's key. Strokes gains, tee, approach, putting, all of that stuff is going to be important because when we were talking about the rough, obviously that's what the US Open, that's their bread and butter, besides drying out the course to almost unplayable conditions, which I also heard that it's going to play much different than it would during the Farmers, where fairways are going to run out a lot more. Greens should be, depending on the weather, a lot firmer. But the rough will be graduated. And this is what I wanted to mention. So we're going to have intermediate, primary, secondary, right?
Are you a fan of that? Are you a fan of that? Or do you like just fairway rough?
Let me get, I do like the idea that you get penalized for the farther you miss it off the fairway. Mm-hmm. Because I think it's a little bit fair when you start thinking about how deep and thick this stuff will be. Because, but part of me also likes the, hit the fairway or don't, and you're caught in the rough. What's your opinion on it?
I'm kind of like with you. I kind of like it. I mean, the further off you are, the more penalized you should be. So I don't mind it.
Yeah. So, but what we did want to mention was that Torrey normally would be like rye, or usually rye and was it the Poa, right? But they added Kikuya, I believe, and so basically what that's going to do is it's going to create unpredictable lies in the rough. And so you're going to have different things are going to sit down, things are going to sit up. You're never going to have the same lies. And I think
there was a video going around.
Yeah, I think that's gonna be cool. Well, on social media, we all know when the rough is thick, it goes viral. And balls are disappearing in there. But did want to mention the fact, the composition of it, because that will be one of the main things that are going to affect how these guys are going to get out of it. If they draw a good lie, it's not going to be a consistent thing. So, Dave, that's it's a defense for what should be another bomb fest with probably the top players in the field. Obviously, that's who's going to be in the field. It's a US Open field. Get used to, everybody in it. Besides, unfortunately, Ricky is not going to be there. But I did see he was qualified. He tried qualifying.
He tried. He missed by a shot.
Signing autographs, and got to respect him. Did want to get into some player news. Obviously, Phil is going for the career Grand Slam this year. He's defending champion at the PGA. I mean, he's probably still feeling himself. He hates the US Open. I think maybe he changed his attitude on it. Dave, where do you see Phil netting out this week? Do you think he contends in this environment?
I hope he does. Do I think he will? No. I mean, it's a very big ask to win back-to-back majors. 51 years old now, trying to win a major.
He's gonna be 51.
He's already 51.
On
or no, he will be. Yeah. So he'll be 51. Trying to win a major that has always screwed him over. I just don't see it happening. I hope he does. I mean, I hope he proves everyone wrong. I'll be rooting for him for sure.
Yeah. I mean, Phil, he's got the potential to finish his seventh runner-up, historic seventh runner-up, or he could win it, or he could miss the cut. I mean, he's playing not on a sponsor's exemption, which he could have given. Couldn't Phil give that sponsor exemption to Ricky?
I don't know.
No?
I don't think you could. I mean,
just it's non-transferable. You can't just give it to anybody.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, Phil, I can't. Again, we say it all the time. Phil is going to be 50 at the time of this recording, but it's insane to think that we're talking about Philip Alfred Mickelson, Fig Jam himself, lefty, going into where he grew up, Torrey Pines, having a chance. I mean, this is like his opportunity to walk into the sunset. I mean, he could have walked in the sunset already after a 6 major win a couple weeks ago. But we're gonna see Phil put on a show in one way or another, and we're excited for it, for sure. Other news, obviously, Brooks Bryson, that's still a thing. We don't have the tee times yet. We were talking about it, Dave. Now, since we hadn't seen much news over the last week, because Brooks just kind of faded very quickly, as we discussed. Bryson, I didn't hear much about him. I mean,
that was a quiet week.
Do you see anything? Do you see them being paired together potentially? And do you
think
that'd be fun?
I don't think they will be. And I personally don't think we'll get much content from it this week unless it's actually unless it's really forced by Bryson and Brooks. I don't see USGA pairing them up in rounds 1 and 2, and I think it would take a lot. Obviously, they would need to play great, and then just to end up being paired together into a grouping would be a minor miracle. So I just don't see it happening this week. I hope so, but
yeah. I mean, I agree. Like we said, we don't want to manufacture, but we still want to see it kind of happen. But I did hear that that Steve Stricker at his Championship Tour event that he got asked about the Brooksy Bryson feud. And this is a quote: "It doesn't make me happy when I see these guys going back and forth on social media. 2 very competitive guys, 2 guys that want to play at the highest level." Do you think that he's not happy about it? Do you think this matters? I see things written about, oh, well, this is the Europe. You don't see this on the international team or Team Europe. Like, this only happens in the United States. Like, do you think that this actually matters?
No, because I guarantee when they're in that team room and at the Ryder Cup, they're just gonna, they're gonna chat and be like, nothing happened. I'm sure they're all cool in person. I kind of lean towards this is kind of a charade, just to kind of, this whole hip thing. But
yeah, well, yeah, I hear you. I mean, and Steve Stricker, captain of the Ryder Cup team. He's basically saying it's going to be up to me to make sure that they're getting along, and hopefully we'll pull them aside, and
I'm sure they're fine.
It's going to be fine. We'll see. Brooksy, hilarious. Also, Phil, he was asking.
It'd be epic if they were paired together at the Ryder Cup. Can you imagine that?
Well, I don't.
Can you imagine that? They're high-fiving each other.
I don't even know how that would work, Dave. It's wild. But also along the same lines, back to Phil, he's now close to again making the team at 51 years old. So we'll see, because
I'm pretty sure he'll get a pick. He'll be a pick, I think.
Yeah, we'll see. Again, Brooksy Bryson, we're wishing you guys all the best for putting on a show for us. Then obviously we wanted to get into Tiger Woods. He will not be participating in the event, but Tiger Torrey holds a special place in Dave and my heart. 2008 was a special year. Tiger won on one leg in an 18-hole playoff over Rocco Mediate, and was one of the greatest, arguably one of the greatest majors we've ever seen ever. Wanted to run you by. I saw Justin Ray post a couple of stats. Pick your Tiger stat next week. DJ is the last number 1 to win the US Open. The last person to do that was Tiger, 2008 at Torrey. Phil is the last defending PGA champion to win the last defending PGA champion to win the US Open is Tiger, 2008 at Torrey. And then the last to win a major at the venue where a player won earlier in the year, again, that was Tiger at Torrey. So that was kind of cool. Dave, do you want to just reminisce about what you remember watching Tiger kind of coming down the stretch and needing to make that putt and watching that ball bounce on Poa and it should never ever lip in.
The '08 US Open is one of the tournaments that I remember vividly. Like out of any major, any win Tiger's ever had, that's the one that I can recall exactly where I was, what I was doing. That one stands out the most to me. Like the Saturday at night, obviously it was prime time. I was at a wedding and I was watching him play at the wedding. I had a portable little TV, I remember, and so we're watching it.
Before cell phones? Is that before?
Yeah. I don't know if it was before, but I mean, I don't know. There was a portable TV there. We're watching it. I remember him making eagle on 18, holding the chip on, I think it was 17. Just that crazy back nine. The back nine on Saturday was insane. And then the Sunday, obviously watching the final round and him making that putt, which was insane. And then Monday I was at work and I was watching the playoff. So it was just a crazy win. One of my favorites for sure. Top three, maybe top two. And
97 and
97, 19 and this one are the three for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was crazy.
Unbelievable. It was unbelievable. Yeah. It was it was almost like we knew he was going to make that putt. Remember, I mean, if you recall, how far was it? Like 15 feet
like
into that
12 feet, maybe
12, 15. And
but it looked like it was rolling over rocks. Like,
but it just kept bouncing because it's like the final group on Sunday. People are wearing spikes.
Yeah.
You know, Poa and you know, and then to go into, was it the 18 hole playoff, which no longer exists. Now it's a 2-hole aggregate, right? That's the new playoff.
Now, what are your thoughts on that? Do you like the 18 or do you like just the sudden death 2 holes or whatever?
Oh man, Dave, I don't like to answer this. I'm a pretty big traditionalist. I wish it was still 18 holes, but I totally understand why it has been switched. They had to, well, the USGA has a tendency to they used to at least want to fit in with a lot of things, and the British Open Championship, whatever the fuck you call it. I think that's a 3-hole aggregate, and
that's my favorite personally. I like the 3-hole.
Yeah, and what's the PGA? The PGA is
3-hole too now.
3-hole,
or they have been for a while. Yeah, remember when Tiger won in 2000 or 01 or 999? Sorry, no, it wasn't. No, not 99. 2000, right? Bob May.
Yes,
2000. Yeah, it was a 3-hole. Yeah.
Yeah, dude, and it was
like obviously sudden death, like the Masters one, you know, is great too. But I don't know. I personally like the 3-hole. I mean, to me, the 3-hole determines the better player that day instead of just, you know.
Yeah, but the 18-hole coming back the next day was just such a.
It was cool.
It was such an event. Like it felt like you know, like so old school. You had like Rocket. He was like wearing the same thing as Tiger, right? Like he like came out in red and black.
Why? I don't know why. Like, you know.
I don't know, but I do know Rocco was rocking a peace sign on his belt buckle, I think on Sunday. I mean, and you got to hand it to him. How old was he during that? I mean, in his 40s,
up there. He was up there, yeah. Oh yeah. Maybe 40, 45, 46,
you
maybe?
know, and you got Tiger and I mean,
he almost won.
He
almost won.
And you know what? That 18-hole playoff wasn't over just like that, right?
No.
It was. It came down to Tiger.
Tiger needed to birdie 18 just to force another playoff, you know?
Yeah. So wild stuff. I mean, it just goes to show you. I mean, talking about Tiger never gets old, and to see him win on a broken leg, basically. I mean, oh, dude, that chip in on Saturday when he would just, you know,
that was crazy. And then that putt where he just on the green, like it's like
dude. Incredible stuff. It just such good memories. And, you know, again, no updates. I guess no news is good news as we recover from a traumatic car accident, and
I'm sure this week he's really feeling it though, because this is one that
sure
even back in
even
back in 08, if you read Stevie's book, he said that was the one tournament that Tiger would always talk about for that, like leading up to that season. He was always, okay, Torrey this, gotta do this for Torrey. And so that was the one he was looking forward to most, even more than the Masters that year.
Yeah. And because Torrey holds a special place in his heart. At public golf course, he grew up and basically also grew up in that area. So, and then obviously Phil winning and being defending major champion, I think going into this is remarkable. I mean, I'm obviously rocking the goat on the shirt today, just because I knew we were going to talk about him, because we could not talk about him. But speaking of players, like I mentioned, I mean, I hate talking about this fucking guy, but Patrick Reed, I mean, he won the Farmers this year. I don't think it's going to play the same. I mean, we can get into that. Like we mentioned, just a simple matter of fact, the USGA takes. I mean, they work enough with the superintendents, but the USGA is running the show here.
It's going to play tough. I think it's going to be really tough.
And we're going to see some. What are they called? Paragliders or whatever they are up there. It's just the classic San Diego lifestyle. While we're talking about players, like we were mentioning, the field is loaded with also qualifiers. That's why the US Open is great. Dave, major locks, US Open style. Who are you going to win?
Rahm.
John Rahm.
I'm taking Rahm because I do think he can win. He's he's a stud. I think he can win his first major here. He plays Torrey well. He's won there before. And because the PGA screwed him over at Memorial, he deserves it. So I'm rooting for him. I hope he wins by 10. And obviously, the only other person I would rather win is Phil, but I'm going with Rahm as my pick.
Going with Rahm as your pick. All right. I think that's fair. He's coming off his WD, in which he seemed to be
actually, there was funny today. There was a tweet you put out that they said he withdrew. No, he was forced to withdraw.
He was forced to withdraw, but I find it very interesting that he's now tested negative 6 days after he tested positive.
It's fucking bullshit, man. It's fucking bullshit.
Come on now.
They stole a win from him.
Yeah, it was. I mean, but Rahm has played incredibly well at Torrey. We know this. And new father perspective, which you can now get on board with. And it's, he tweeted out a gif of Rambo. Did you see that?
Yeah.
And it's exactly what Sevi would have tweeted. But I'm just kidding. It's just a Sevi Spain joke. It's fun. To be honest with you, I'm in a tough place here with my picks. I love what Garrick Higgo is doing, first of all, and
he's not going to win.
I love the Rahm pick. I'm gonna pick Phil to win the US Open, complete career Grand Slam.
All right, I hope you're right.
I again, there's no reason for it, but there was no reason why he was gonna win a PGA, and why not? I mean, this is his probably the last chance.
This is his last chance for sure, unless there's like a course that's really favorable for whatever. But
I mean, for Phil to end his career at his Grand Slam career at Torrey, I mean, it'd be insane. I don't, obviously it sounds insane, but like he won the PGA. It's not that crazy. 51-year-old Phil Mickelson is my pick to win the US Open, complete the career Grand Slam, or finish record 7th runner-up. That's got to count for something too. So whatever the case, Phil's going to put on a show. Like we said, I'm taking Phil to win. Who are you fading? Who's not even sniffing the cut?
You'll be surprised by this one, but I'm going to fade Justin Thomas. mainly because I'm sick and tired.
Here.
I'm sick and tired of thinking he's gonna turn around, play well. I've been saying that for like the last 2 months. How many times have I taken him as a contender or a winner and just completely sucked? So screw it. I'm gonna fade him this week. So there's a good chance he's probably gonna win, to be honest.
Yeah, well, I wholeheartedly agree with that pick. That would be my pick every week, but I like to keep things interesting. But I'm happy to hear that he's in your doghouse right now. I think that, I mean, it's a better pick than I think fading Brooks, even though he looked like crap this past week. But I mean, Brooks, I think is gonna be there too. I think yes.
It's a major. You gotta be. You can never really fade him, even though his game sucks, other than in majors.
Right.
But.
Well. Now see, I told you I was in a bit of a dilemma, bit of a pickle with our picks here. So I picked Phil to win. I'm gonna do something unprecedented. We've never done it on the show. I'm gonna pick Phil to miss the cut at the US Open. I am fading Phil. He's either gonna win or crash and burn. These are my two.
Well, you're guaranteed to get one, right?
I'm guaranteed to get one. No, maybe he makes the cut. I don't know. I could get 0. However,
true.
However, I always like keeping things interesting. Phil winning the US Open is the craziest thing in the entire world to me. So that's why I could totally see it happening, or I could totally see it not happening. Take it or leave it. Phil Mickelson. We're still, 51-year-old Phil Mickelson, man.
I think he'll make the cut.
You think he'll make the cut?
Yeah, I think he'll make the cut.
All right. Well, we'll see. We'll see. I mean, again, the players, Spieth has been playing great. I mean, we have Brooks, Bryson. We have, there's so many storylines. And we should even mention, obviously, this is West Coast prime time on the East Coast.
The best.
It's going to be fantastic viewing. The pictures are going to be wonderful. I don't know, the blimp, the drones, however they're going to do it. We're not going to have Johnny Miller in the booth, but I'm sure there'll be plenty of nerves. And I'm looking forward to it, Dave. It's major week. We get 4 of these weeks a year. The third one is here. And oh, by the way, didn't even talk about how it was the Canadian Open was supposed to be this week.
Yeah, it was. I saw that too. Yeah. So anyways, it was cool seeing a new venue. Looking forward to seeing a familiar venue playing extremely difficult with Phil Mickelson trying to complete the career Grand Slam. So many storylines coming out of there. Obviously, we missed the hell out of Tiger. Feel better, buddy. We miss you. And then we got, and then we just want to celebrate a little Father's Day. Do you have any plans for Father's Day, Dave? Just watching golf. I'll probably have my parents over, to be honest. But
maybe we'll wind up talking and recording another podcast later that day and recapping the US Open. But
we'll see. We'll play it by ear. It'll have to be a late one, I guess. Since this probably won't be done till like 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, right?
West Coast, right? Yeah. Well,
yeah.
So we'll figure all that.
We'll play it by ear.
Stay tuned. We are definitely going to be recapping the U.S. Open, but that is the U.S. Open preview. That also sums up this past week of golf, I guess we could say. It's been fun, Dave. First week as a father, accomplished. Check. Well done. You look fantastic again. Still glowing.
Thank you.
And I guess we'll have any feelings, thoughts going into Torrey? You expecting to see anything? You want to see?
I'm looking
anything?
forward to it. Obviously, like every major week, Monday to Sunday, eat up all the content, the player interviews, live on the range, you name it. I'm soaking it in. So I'm pumped.
Soaking it in, baby.
Yeah. And to be honest, the U.S. Open's, I don't want to say my second favorite. Sometimes it is. It's between the Open and the U.S. Open. I love both. I know some people, dog on the U.S. Open because the USJ and how they set up the course sometimes. But I'm a fan. Right. I love it. So.
Well, it's gotten better, I think, over the last couple of years. I think, and I think we're in for a treat this week. It's like we're saying. It's always exciting. No, yeah, man. We're going into something be tuned in. We'll be all over social media again. I'm Dan at 2 inches short, and he's Dave at Golf and Jokes. Thank you so much for hanging out with us for our US Open preview. And again, if you made it this far, subscribe, like, rate, review, do all that you do. We appreciate all the support. Dave, it's US Open week. My friend, you have just been double crossed. We are out.